We have 13 weeks of pure excitement, pure learning, pure sharing, doing business together, bonding.
Idea extraction is your bedrock to building a profitable business.
Your business has a value, you have worth, and you need to be able to set your price. No matter how great the product is, it has to be marketed. If you have the cure for cancer tomorrow and you don't market it, no lives will be saved. Think about the challenges that we have and why your product or service is going to fill that.
You are the brand. We have to find our own unique value proposition.
At the end of the day, business is about money. And the big question you're always going to get, who is going to pay for this and how much money is it going to actually produce?
The only thing that you need to do is not give up.
This is going to be an exciting ride, ladies.
So the first bio, the first prospectus for your business, that says what your business is about. And then last but certainly not least, the first cash flow. The first cash flow that you've put in, okay? Awesome. So, when we first started, we had sort of did a round and people would sort of told me a little bit about their business. I don't want to take up too much time, but maybe if we could hear from two individuals who didn't get a chance to talk about their business, that could just introduce themselves and tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me your business. That's going to be my show. I can see it. Can't you guys see it? I'm sitting on a couch like the Oprah Winfrey Show, right?
Yeah.
Spencer Show, and it's tell me your business, and all these people, you awesome boss women, will come and tell me your business. I love it. We're gonna do this. I love it. Right here, it was developed right here. So tell me your business. Two people who hasn't spoken up before.
I guess I can go first.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Hi, Anika. Hi, Anika.
Hi, it's hi, Annika.
Annika, my bad. Hi, Annika.
That's okay. It's okay. I get Anika all the time. It's fine.
Okay.
But today's my first day, so I missed a lot of the courses before, which is really unfortunate. So I'm here now and moving forward. But I actually started a nonprofit charity, and what we do is we improve and support the mental and emotional health of children living in homeless shelters by providing them with personalized birthday parties and experiences. The reason for that is because a lot of times these children, because of the situation that they're in, most of the time they're with a single parent and they're fleeing domestic violent household, and they find themselves in a shelter in an unfortunate situation, and a lot of times they can't celebrate their birthdays. And for teenagers who are living in homeless shelters, many times like birthdays become like a reminder of hardship. And so our birthdays and birthdays experiences are promoted surrounding around the idea to just, make them feel a sense of value and just give them that normality for the day and just make them feel good about themselves. And there's times we don't do birthday parties, but we can give them experiences like going to a Raptors game or a Blue Jays game or even the museum for the day. So we're literally just getting started. We got our charitable status approval 3 weeks ago. So I'm in so many different webinars trying to learn about like finances, governance, and branding, and just so much more, and also to network with, just powerful women and people to, make an impact.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
That's an awesome, big, bold step. I absolutely love it. And, if there's anything we can do to support, do not hesitate. There's a lot of resources here, which you'll hear about. And not only that, you have a group here of awesome boss women, boss entrepreneurs who's here to help. It's part of the journey is supporting one another. It starts right here in this circle.
Yeah, for sure.
Right here. Yeah. So
yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to share that I haven't heard from? Now I see Natasha. Did we hear from you from before?
Hi, I think I spoke in the first, hi everyone, good evening. I think I spoke in the first night, but I could definitely speak about myself. So I'm Natasha Pennycook. I'm a registered psychotherapist. I'm a speaker, I'm a workshop facilitator, I'm a clinical consultant, and I'm the owner operator of Natasha Pennycook Psychotherapy Services. So I help high achieving men and women who are struggling with trauma, with self-doubt, worry, fear from trauma, anxiety, and depression to overcome. A lot of times what happens is that people are stuck in like survival mode. So I really help men and women to get through the survival mode, to move on to healing and to thriving so they can live their best life. And I do this all from an anti-Black racism lens.
Wonderful. That's awesome. You know, kudos to you for having that down pat just like that. I totally get what you do, the problem you're trying to solve, the purpose. That's awesome. Very, very good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
very much.
Actually, I wanted to say to Annika, Anika?
Yes,
Annika.
Annika.
Okay, and Annika, I wanted to say that if you are looking for speakers on mental health, definitely hit me up. Let me know. I do a lot of
Absolutely
speaking.
will.
Okay.
Perfect. That's awesome. I will definitely connect with you. Thank
All right,
you.
great. And my bio's there, so you could you could download
Thank
it.
you.
On point.
You know, I'm
on
trying
point.
to get I'm trying to get to that. Like you explained it so well, and I'm so nervous. Like this is like me coming out of my shell, and I get so nervous. Like I even joined like Toastmasters to help me with my public speaking because I'm just like a nervous wreck, and I'm dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome. And
Yeah,
just waiting for that moment to all crash down on me and for everyone to realize I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
It's so funny you mentioned that because I actually just ran a workshop last week on racial trauma and imposter syndrome. And you know what? We do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. We have to get out of our heads. We have to recognize that, you know, we are the expert in what we are doing and own it.
Yes,
Exactly.
thank you. Thank you for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, you should send your info to Uju because the BBPA has a host of all kinds of programs, and we're always looking for speakers. You know, we're always looking for people to participate. We do have a mental health workshop that's happening December 5th and 19th, is it, Uju? December 5th and 12th, but we want to do more of that. So definitely, as we're building our programming out for the year, connect with us because we're always looking for speakers. And that goes for anyone else in the platform here. We are always looking for professionals to do different things. And I hope you've all filled in your businesses on the business directory. That's directory.bbpa.org. Because again, we get asked by, you know, what I call mainstream businesses, all kinds of institutions looking for individuals from real estate to who wants to buy a car or insurance, all of these services. And so you want to make sure you put your information on the BBPA's website, and so it can be opened up to people looking for your business and services. I hope that all 37 of you on tonight's call are members because there's a lot of great opportunity to participate in at the BBPA. And you know, they say membership has its privileges, but one of the things that I truly believe in business is that you have to have skin in the game. And so, you know, our skin in the game is we provide the programs, and your skin in the game is to be a member. I think it's $150 for a membership, and it's important. There's a lot of great resources. They're upcoming with the Ryerson Diversity Institute. We're going to be doing a pitch across Canada, a national pitch. And so far, I think we're up to $70,000 that's going to be available for women entrepreneurs. So ladies, you know, when I was on a call with Ryerson, they all talk about the BBP as boss women, right? Because, you know, Wendy's been on and she references this group a lot. So you do, the added edge you have is that the people at the table, they know you. So that's one. Two, you have the resources. Whatever Wendy has talked about in terms of how to prepare a pitch, how to prepare the business plan, how to prepare your financial statement and the marketing, which we're going to go through next week, you want that to be a part of it. And what's great about the pitch competition that's upcoming, more than the money, because I think everyone who participates in this is going to be a winner, because what's going to happen is you're going to get dynamic coaches. We have someone from BMO that's going to be talking about marketing. We're going to have one of the women from Futurepreneur that's talking about loans, from micro loans to large size loans. And so there's going to be a lot of great resources and content that you will be able to have as you build your business. At the end of this program, the goal is that you should have your business plan, all your marketing tools, all of the things ready that you can step into the programs that the federal government has announced with the Black Entrepreneurship Program that, the BBP has been a part of negotiating those loans, negotiating those training, those materials that's going to be part of the Black Entrepreneurship Fund for across Canada. But, we're at that table. And so, it's important that you use the resources here as you move and grow your business to the next level. And the most important part also is the mentorship part of that component that we have to go along with that. For some of you in the last session, I'd given half an hour consult, and I know some of them, OVA, I still owe you half an hour. It will happen, I promise. But, I find that that's an important part of being a business person, is just connecting with people and having that, one-on-one conversation about your business. So there's going to be a lot of that. So I look forward to the growth, and I look forward to seeing the success that will happen for each and every one of you here. And I want to thank you, always for just showing up and being ready and able to take your business to the next level. So today's program, we have we're talking about, the bricks and mortar of business, So, and as you all know, that online, it's very much the new trend online. So Uju, if you can help me share my screen. Oh, you already have screen sharing privileges. I will jump right in. So so again, this is just the program for tonight. And next week, which is week 5, we have, who's coming on from Google? Is it two individuals from Google, Uju, that's coming on next week?
Yes. It's going to be amazing. So they're going to go through details that have to do with marketing your business, using different Google tools, to amplify your business voice on both digital and traditional media. So it's going to be very expository. So I would advise you not to be late. Of course, that's the thing about this group. Everybody comes on time. So just show up, invite your friends as well to show up, because that's one session that you don't want to miss at all.
Awesome. Okay. And so, week 4, we're talking about bricks and mortar, physical stores in the current climate. And so the late Tony Heiss, how do I say that, Uju? Heiss? Tony Zay, that's right. Tony Zay of Zappos said that chase the vision, not the money, and the money will end up following you. Most entrepreneurs start their businesses with the vision of helping someone or a group of people with a product or service. And the best expression of that vision is to meet these people where they're mostly found. And in today's climate, they're mostly found. I mean, now we can't go out. So where are they found? They are found online. So creating an e-commerce strategy for your business, on Black Friday, over $9 billion was spent on deals, and on Cyber Monday, which was yesterday, it was projected that $12 billion was spent in the US, the largest online sales day in history. $12 billion, that's according to Adomi. Walmart experienced a 120% increase in e-commerce sales, and Target saw 156%. Shopify recorded that Canada is the 3rd largest selling country on their platform in the world, 3rd largest selling in the world. So it just shows you the market opportunity for online. I mean, when you think about $9 billion, I mean, if you captured 0.1% of that, your business is doing well. And that's in products, but it's services as well. One of the trends that I've seen in online is people with services like Natasha, you've got a service that you're offering, you're a psychotherapist and you're offering a service. So people sort of think that it's products that sell. So it's products like your hot sauce, your candles, and so forth. But services are sold online, and people offer, the discount codes for services. So as you think about building your business, when you're a service, don't discount the fact that you can operate that business online the same way people list their products, like whether you have a sauce or a drink or a T-shirt, another kind of a commodity as well. So consumers are more motivated, to spend now, especially in the wake of, in the wake of George Floyd, more and more people are looking to spend on Black businesses, because the broader mainstream world has recognized that there has been a disservice or an underrepresentation of Black owned businesses, and specifically also Black women owned businesses. And so the trend is to, shop local, buy from Black entrepreneurs. And, so the reports show that the gap between spend on big businesses versus small businesses shrunk by 200%. So due to COVID, there's an increased growth in e-commerce as consumers move from offline to online. And today we're going to have somebody talk about what that online growth has been out of COVID. Imagine, we're all here, and I don't know how many of you have started a business during COVID. Can you just show of hands to me, how many of you have started a business, since March of this year? So during COVID, how many of you have started businesses during COVID? Okay, Jillian. Yeah, I see. Okay, so quite a bit. Kudos. You haven't let the climate deter you at all, and that's what it is. We can't let the climate deter us. Speaking at Queen's University last week, and the woman, she had a great quote. She said, the waves come with the water. And just this, that's the same way opportunities comes as you're moving, as you're flowing. The moment you stop, I really say that the moment you stop, you're dead. You have to keep going, because it is in the movement that you find another alternative or another opportunity to pivot. So no matter what happens, when things get tough, we can't stop at all. We have to continue. We have to continue to push. We have to continue to move forward. And we have to also find the things that inspires us each and every day. Since we started when COVID happened, there's a lot of things that happens. And as we go on Zoom each day to find different opportunities and for our members and for my marketing agency, for our clients, if you look behind me, you can see over here, I have my BBPA Harry Jerome Awards, right? So the BBPA Harry Jerome Awards is what you get when you're the best in Canada. It is the primus inter pares. I talk about that my father said, Nadine, you must always strive in life to be primus inter pares. It's Latin for first amongst your peers. And what it means to me is that striving to be the best no matter what. And trust me, you've heard my story. I've had challenges. I as an entrepreneur, I've had many challenges, but never stopping. And I'll never forget my father's word, fighting to be first. And so when I'm on the Zoom and I see the Harry Jerome behind me, I think where I've come from, the 12-year-old girl selling cakes in the marketplace and becoming an entrepreneur then, even though I didn't know it, to where I am now, that I got that award. But I think about all the struggles and all the journey. So I believe all the time, as you hear me say, in women power, in Black women power, in the power of Black women, our resilience, our ability to push through no matter what, despite the odds, to fight through, to be primus inter pares. And as I sit with government and I negotiate for resources, for training, for all the things for our community, so we can advance and recover and be sustainable, I think about the shoulders that I stand on. Like our founder, Denham Jolly, just received the Order of Canada. 38 years ago, Denham Jolly founded the BBPA, the Black Business and Professional Association, because he recognized there was a deficit for Black businesses in Canada. And he wanted to create an organization that would address, systemic racism, that would address barriers for Black businesses. And that's what he did. And then, they were going to name the BBPA, they were going to honor Harry Jerome. And then Harry Jerome died of a brain aneurysm. So hence the Harry Jerome Awards. They called it the Harry Jerome Awards. And when I think about Harry Jerome's legacy, even himself as a runner, a Black runner who had challenges, with racism and all of those things. So ladies, we stand on those strong shoulders. We stand with each other. And as I think about all the things we want to accomplish, I know that we can push forward and do it, because my business has done it. And now you're going to hear from our speaker, who has made a business during the toughest of times. And it says a lot. And it happens to Danielle. It can happen to each and every one of us. We just have to continue to be resilient, trust, work together collaboratively, and just push on. So I thank you, and Ujjwal, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much for that very in-depth and encouraging intro. And right now we are getting set to introduce our speaker, who I'm a huge fan of, Danielle Spencer. She started a company, she's CEO of Value Organics. She started a company sometime this year, I believe, when the quarantine started. And Value Organics is basically a mommy-owned business. And the goal was really to create products and services for children that helps both their mental and physical development. So it's really beautiful. She's also project manager at Brand EQ. So please, in your very warm way, welcome our speaker for today, Danielle Spencer.
Oh, thank you for that intro, Uju. Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle. I'm the founder of Baloo Organics, which I co-run with my fiance. So I am a mom. My daughter is a year and almost 3 months now. She's just growing so fast. And when, COVID hit, she was about 7-8 months. And her growth was just rapid, and we got to a point where, we all thought COVID was going to be 2 weeks. We were like, okay, we're going to go stock up on our toilet paper. We're going to make banana bread at home. We're going to work out. We're going to be out of here in 2 weeks and we're good. And then the time just kept on like pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And everything that we had planned for her, swimming lessons, daycare, getting into activity centers, socializing, going to baby clubs, mommy and me groups, all those things kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And so we had to work extra hard to make sure that she was meeting her developmental milestones, and that she was being entertained. Now, working full time and doing this, we started to look for other products that she would have been using or doing activities of had COVID not been a thing. And one of the things that we had kind of just come up was like a Chuck E. Cheese. And we were like, ew, that's disgusting. Never in this climate, not in a pandemic, it's not happening. But that idea of ball pits had just come up then in that conversation. And I started looking for some and I could not find any that were what I wanted for my child. And in that being the case, I kind of just started looking into how I could do it myself and how I could turn this into a product that I could have for her. And then in that, I noticed a gap in the market. There's, especially with, summer having been coming up at the time, there was a push for products that were normally for outdoor use. But that's not, achievable for many people who live in apartment buildings and condos, who maybe have roommates or just live in small and confined spaces. And, when you're living in, smaller spaces, to be able to have products and activities that your children like, it's tough to find, especially at a reasonable price point, and especially one that matches your decor, because decor is everything. And when it comes to children's products, having to choose between, the aesthetic of your home and then the products that you want for your kids is obviously an easy choice, products for your kids, but I didn't want parents to have to make that choice. I wanted it to be easy. And so that was where Baloo was born. Now, Baloo is, we call it elevated essentials for babies and tots. They're products that are for children that help with their development and they help with their learning and their growing. They encourage their imagination and their urge to explore, but they're also for parents in the fact that they're products that we like to see and we like to look at, we like to have in our home. They're humble brags when we post them on Instagram, as well as they keep our children very much entertained when we're trying to have our morning coffees. And so that is Baloo Organics, and that was how I got started in there. Now, being in COVID, brick and mortars, like they're not a thing. They're not what we're going towards. And so we went the e-commerce route and we started on Etsy. The day that I posted our first listing, I got a sale within the first 5 minutes. And that was when I knew that I was onto something. And so the business just took off really quickly from there. In our first month, we started May 30th and got 5 sales in one weekend, and then we moved into June. This past month, we did 6 figures in just 1 month. That's how quickly it grew. That's how quickly it took off. And, it's definitely been a learning lesson. I've learned a lot of amazing things, especially when it comes to running e-commerce, and then also having to start a business and being able to cater to your customers, as well as, looking to grow, rapidly and quickly. Because, especially when you're in the middle of a pandemic, to put your funds on the line to start a business, you want to see results and you want to see them quickly. So how is it that you're going to do that? Now, coming back to the point of a brick and mortar, physical space is tough to do right now. However, the pillars of what make a brick and mortar successful are exactly what it is that we need to be doing in an e-commerce climate and when working online and selling our services or businesses online. Now, the 4 biggest pluses to a brick and mortar are the physical connection, convenience, the expertise that the person who is there is giving, as well as the consumer experience. So when we're looking at these 4 pillars of what it is that makes a brick and mortar successful, we need to be applying those into our own businesses and seeing how it is that we can have a brick and mortar without actually having a brick and mortar. And so, Uji, if I could just go to the next slide. So brick and mortars, they're physical spaces. It's, the physical presence of an organization or a business in, a physical space or, a structure. Now, I don't believe that a brick and mortar has to be your own lease, your own building that you own. It doesn't have to be the traditional sense of a brick and mortar. Business has changed since that terminology even came to be. What is a brick and mortar now? Now what we're seeing is brick and mortars are people working out of co-working spaces. They're people working out of like storage units and being able to produce their products there. They're working out of their homes. Now, of course, this isn't traditional business, but it's a change in business, and we see this trajectory in the growth. And so it's something that we really need to be keeping up with and we need to be watching. And so, Uji, if I can just go to the next one. So we have what I like to call an elusive brick and mortar. So our product it's physical and it's big. Our ball pits, they are 90 centimeters across, and they are between 30 and 40 high. So when we're trying to sell 6 figures worth of ball pits and balls, it is not possible to do in our home. As you can see from here to the back wall, we would not be able to store that in here. And so what we did was we got a storage unit, and we actually looked for, luckily there was a new one that had just opened up in our area. It was indoor, it was brand new. It's like a state-of-the-art storage unit. It has a co-working space on the inside. It's beautiful. So we, whenever we have customers, they're doing pickups for their products, they come there. What's great about it is that, looking at the 4 pillars is that it gives us the opportunity to have a physical connection with our customers, because if they ever want to come and pick up their product or they want to come and return something, they're more than welcome to. And it's a space that is, it's welcoming, as well as it fits what we need as a growing company. We can't take on the cost of a full physical store. And so what's great is that this houses our inventory and that it allows us to be able to operate in a way that welcomes our customers. Another great thing about what I call, the elusive brick and mortar is not only having your own space, but taking advantage of other people's spaces. So we retail on 3 platforms right now. So we started on Etsy. So we have 3, and then we're about to launch into a 4th. So we started on Etsy, and then we created our own website. And then from there we grew into a luxury retailer called The Tot, and it's mostly big in the US, but they sell luxury baby goods. And so the great part about that was that it immediately matched our clientele. And so what we did was we locked in an exclusivity with them so that they can't have another ball pit supplier, as well as we don't look for another retailer to sell our products on. Now, what was great about using their location is that they have stores in the States, but we're online for them. So they already have a network of customers. They already have a network of clients. Through that connection, what we've been able to do is garner PR and media contacts to feature our products. And so being able to leverage another person's platform to your benefit is something that's tricky to do. But once you're able to make that connection, and usually that comes down to your branding and your ability to do outreach and then dripping on these individuals who you want to be utilizing their space for. The fourth space that we've just signed that we're going to be retailing in is Best Buy. Best Buy is huge across the country. We're going to be retailing in their online space, and then if people ever want to, you know, bring back their convenience, accessibility, a physical space. Sometimes people just want that, and to be able to offer it is really great, whether it's your own space or another person's. Uji, if I could just go to the next one. So this is our space. We call it our studio because my fiance always says that he's about to go out and make hit records. And so that's where we operate out of. So as you can see, it's a huge space. We're able to put together all of our orders. The image to the left of all the packaged boxes, that's what we did on just Monday morning. When we did a surprise, not even yesterday morning, it was last week, Monday morning. So just before Black Friday and Cyber Monday, where we did a surprise launch of our annual Baloo sale, where we just ran pretty much Black Friday for just the entire week. And that was where we saw a huge projection in our growth. We had projected to do $10,000 last month. We exceeded that tenfold, and we've pretty much sold out of all of our product for the holidays, which kind of sucks. Selling out was definitely not our goal, because the moment you sell out, you have no more opportunities to sell to your clients. So that definitely was not what we wanted to do, but it was just where we ended up. So we're just going to take advantage of it, and then we're just going to pivot and just move forward. So with that, what we're going to be doing is a lot of pre-sales and being able to push our products that way. But as you can see, so we have that physical space. That's our space. It's indoors. People can drive into it. And so we have our little spot where we take our photos and we do that. So Uji, if I could just go to the next slide. So the next best part about setting up an elusive brick and mortar is having a consistent space. So this is where we do our photo shoots. It's a little spot in Toronto called the Mint Room Studios. We started using them because I saw that they had, so they have about, I think it's 5 rooms, and they had one that was done up as a nursery or like a playroom. And so we just thought, perfect, let's photograph our products there, because I'm not buying everything to set up a nursery or a playroom. We were in the process of moving, so all of my daughter's things were already packed up. It did not look like a playroom. And so we were like, hey, we're gonna do this. So going between this photo and then Uji, if I could just slide to the next one. These are taken in the same room at different times. Now, what that's going to do on our feed is it's going to create a consistency in the space that our clients see, and it's going to ground them into a vibe and an aesthetic. And that's what people really buy into. That's why people love social media. And honestly, social media, Instagram is almost actually your brick and mortar, because the opportunities that you can create there, like, it's ridiculous. So being able to have a very strong presence on your Instagram is hugely important, because that's what people will usually associate the 4 pillars of a brick and mortar as within your business. That's going to be what gives people an experience. That's what's going to give them your expertise. That's what's going to give them a physical connection and the convenience. So you want to make sure that when you're coming to people with it, you're coming correct. And that, because you only have one chance to make a first impression. If somebody comes to your page and they're like, and they move on, they're not coming back. And because, they haven't been on your page for a certain amount of time, they're not interested. It's never going to come up on their, on your feed in a discovery type of way. So you want to make sure that your brand and your aesthetic is coming across right on point, because that is exactly what you want to be hitting on the head, because that is your brick and mortar. When people want to go to the Eaton Center, they want to go shopping, they go to the Eaton Center because it's the Eaton Center. They know it's going to have the stores that they want. That if this, if Zara doesn't exactly have what you want, you can try Aritzia. It's going to have that aspect of the convenience. So you want to make sure that you have that with people. One of the great parts about being able to use a space like this is that they build it to cater towards people who are usually working in these types of spaces, you know, photographers, people who are coming in to do lifestyle shoots, you know, models, people who are doing wedding shoots, family shoots, things like that. So they're gonna always make sure that the space is as it should be. And, oh, sorry, I have somebody here. So she is, sorry, this is my daughter. This is Nola. And she's in the photo just right there. And so what's great about, I know, honestly, even she's a part of our brick and mortar because we use her in a number of our photos. She's very consistent across our brand. And so people know if they see Nola, they see Blue. And so being able to utilize other people's spaces as a part of your brick and mortar is incredibly beneficial, and you want to make sure that you're doing that. Uju, if I can just slide to the next one. So another thing that you're going to want to be doing is creating familiarity. Now, again, as I was saying, Uju, yeah, you can slide to the next one. So again, these are taken at completely different times. One was taken in August, the other one was taken last week. What's great about the photo is that the consistency in the background, when somebody sees it once and they're gonna like it, when they see it again, it's going to invoke that same emotion of, oh, I like the way that looks. I like that aesthetic. I like that vibe. I like the way that's designed. When you are able to maintain that consistency and that familiarity, people are gonna always have that, oh, moment when they come back to it. So being able to utilize that, oh, is always going to be beneficial to you, because if somebody liked it and they're going to like it again, sorry, my daughter's just pulling her cord. But being able to utilize familiarity and being able to have that consistency is going to just make your brand far more established. Sorry, I do see a question in the chat, and somebody was telling me that I can just usually just keep on talking, but you can use the short method like Marlene. Okay.
There were some questions. Do you want us to read the questions for you, Danielle?
Earlier, I saw that somebody had asked how to make a connection.
Yeah, someone said, how did you create that connection to obtain online retail space with Best Buy and the Tot?
Okay, so I attribute that to our photos and to our brand. Etsy, we had gotten pretty quickly after we had launched. They had come to us in July, and it took us about a month and a half to lock down all the details and move forward into that business relationship. They found us on Etsy, and so I attribute that to just having our strong brand presence, having the great quality photos, making sure that all of our descriptions were on point. One of the best things that was working to our advantage was that we were the only people in Canada who were selling the skull pit. And so being a Canadian company, they really liked. And the fact that we were using organic materials, they also really like made them want to sign on with us, because their whole thing is that they're non-toxic. You know, they love hypoallergenic products. They just love things that are in their most natural state for babies and for kids. And so us having that was a huge selling point. And so because we aligned with their goals and their vision and their values, that was incredibly beneficial for us. So you want to make sure that when you're putting your business online, that you have all those keywords, and that you're making sure that, you know, the goals and the values as to who it is that you want to be working with align. And so in that, I would suggest looking at the top 3 to 4 retailers or business partners who you would want to work with. And when looking for those people, make sure you read through their missions, make sure you read through their values, and you incorporate those into your own, because you want it to be so that when somebody comes to your website for such a purpose, that they read through these things and they're like, oh, that is exactly what we're about. Let me get into contact with them and just either get to know a little bit more, maybe reach out for an opportunity. As Nadine says, to just always be in a state of readiness so that when these opportunities come up, you're ready to take advantage of them.
Danielle, just a follow-up question on that. a company that is selling products that are not as very unique or novel as the bulk, say candles, for instance. We have quite a number of companies that sell candles. And when it comes to identifying these companies with synergies where you can sell on their retail space, how do you advise people approach the negotiating part of it? Like, to what end do you practice that negotiating power, knowing that your product is, for instance, candles? There are quite a number of candle companies. How would you navigate that space?
Yeah, absolutely. And to that, I would say, for me, business and retail is like the bread section at a grocery store. Bread is bread, is bread is bread. But when you go to the grocery store, how many options of bread do you see? How many different brands of bread do you see? And, you know, they could very easily just go with one brand and have all of their different types of bread, but that's not what they do. You know, you go and you see Country Harvest, you see Wonder, you see Seven Grains, you see this brand, you see that brand. And that's because there's something that differentiates them all. I might not know it, you might not know it, but there is that something. And so the importance of that is to always identify what your something is. You know, nobody can sell your business better than you do, but you have to fully understand it and all of its nuances. You don't have to have a niche product necessarily per se, but you do need to know what it is that makes you special, what makes you stand out from your competitors. If you are exactly like your competitors, but you maybe just have better customer service, that's a huge selling point. And so to be able to utilize that, work it to your advantage, you know, do that. You know, again, talking about social media, you know, if you sell candles and somebody else sells candles, well, maybe you're always doing giveaways. Maybe you're always getting in touch with your customers and asking them what it is they like about your product.
Go pick the baby up, go pick the baby up, go pick the baby up.
And being able to just communicate that with people. So I always say that, you know, whatever it is that you're doing in business, do it 10% better than your competitor. Do it 10% better than the person who's at the top, and you'll see a difference. Because, you know, as good as somebody else is, if they're missing something, you just have to lose a customer once and then have somebody else to swoop in on the opportunity to take that on. You know, as Nadine was saying about Shopify and sales this year for Black Friday, Shopify did $5.1 billion in sales. It's like $5.1 billion. My favorite analogy is that 1 million seconds is just about 11 days. 1 billion seconds is about 31 years. So when you take that into perspective, you can really understand the dollar value that's being spent there. And you can understand that there is money that is going out. We're in the middle of a pandemic and people are spending $5.1 billion on a day of shopping after giving, you know, thanks and gratitude for everything that it is that they already have. And so when you take that into consideration, there's money out there regardless of what industry it is, and there's money that can be going to you. You just have to know how to grab your customers, you know, grab the retail partners it is that you feel like you want and need. And to that I say, you know, there's, you know, us being a new retailer, I definitely have partners who I want to work with in the new year. And so what I do about that is I follow them on Instagram. I like all of their content, and I actually start to align some of my posts with what theirs look like. If they're doing, you know, a 12 days of Christmas giveaway, I might use some of their similar hashtags that they're using and just like throw them into the mix of mine. Some of the things that it is that, you know, events and things that they're doing, I'll be making sure that, you know, I'm in attendance of them. And so you want to make sure that when you're dripping on these people, that it's very consistent, because eventually somebody will notice. And if it's not the person who's, you know, running the company or running the organization that it is that you want to partner with, it might even just be their customers who now start coming over to you. And so when it is that a company comes and they notice that you guys have a very similar clientele, they're going to want to take advantage of that, because they recognize that you have the exact same thing going for them and that they can utilize that. So being able to work those is incredibly important.
Awesome. Thank you. I have a few other questions that came to me privately. Do you want to take now, or do you want to finish the presentation?
No, we can go through those now.
Okay, so there's one here, and talking about how do you maintain client experience. the best of it when there is very little contact. Say is a product or a service that is not that huge, that doesn't really require space for lots of inventory. How do you maintain better client experience for your clients?
Yeah. To that, I say communication and consistency. I used to work in a restaurant, and I like some of the lessons I learned there are the ones I bring with me to today. If you're in a restaurant and they're going through a dinner rush, and there's a little bit of a backup, and your server just goes missing, you can't see them, you can't get a refill on your drink to save your life. You want to know where your food is. You're starting to get agitated, especially if you have kids, they're starting to get agitated. At a certain point, you're tired of it. You're probably in a bitter mood. You're wondering why are you even spending your money there? You want no part of it. Whereas if you have a server who, it's the exact same length of wait time, but they're coming over and they're telling you, this is where we're at in the kitchen. I apologize profusely. What can I do to make you more comfortable? Can I get you a refill on your drink? I can bring you a free appetizer. This is what's happening. I think you can expect, your food in this amount of time. I can ensure that it won't be cold. What else can I do for you? When someone maintains that line of communication, that consistency, you're definitely going to have a better experience. You're probably going to be upset with the restaurant, but you're definitely not going to be upset with your server. And you're going to take into consideration that sometimes these things happen, because when somebody's coming up to you and smiling and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm doing my best, and they're showing you that they're doing their best, are you really going to be as upset? And so I just always tell people, just communicate with your customers, communicate with them in any sense that you possibly can. Whether it be, you do giveaways, and when you do a giveaway, don't just do like free product to whoever can, comment first, or, we're going to be doing a selection, tag your friends, and then leave it. When you have people who now start interacting with your brand, respond. For example, today we announced our 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. And so one of the posts is we're giving away our full collection of Baloo bibs to 3 individuals. All they have to do is follow us, tag a friend, and tell us what is their favorite holiday tradition. Now, rather than me just posting that and then leaving, there are people saying, we like to bake cookies and watch movies. And so I'm sure to respond, oh, I love chocolate chip. What are you making and what movies are you watching? Somebody had said, she likes to go to her Nona's place and they make food and they just eat. And I responded to her, I'm like, make sure you save me a plate. And then she responds back. So you want to make sure that when you're, reaching out a line and somebody grabs it, that you're pulling them back in, and that you're just maintaining that line of communication and talking to them, because you'll be surprised at how many people are going to want to talk back and to maintain that conversation.
Awesome. Thank you. Just to follow up on that question, what part of the customer journey would you advise you pay the most attention to? Some people say it's delivery, making sure that your product or your service gets to your client as quickly as possible. Some people would say it's just that first impression, which would be heavy on branding. But for you, in your experience in e-commerce, what is that one part of the journey, the entire journey, that you pay the most attention to?
Yeah, the one part that I pay the most attention to is definitely building that relationship. As soon as somebody sends in an order, I'm sure to message them and say, thank you. Thank you for your order. Thank you for your support of my small business. And the thing about maintaining communication is that you already built a relationship with them now before a problem happens. So if something comes up, let's say a delay in their shipping, especially around the holiday times, who's really going to get upset with somebody who you've created a personal connection with? Of course you might be upset, but you're going to definitely be a little bit more understanding, rather than just looking at the person as, just a piece of this business, piece of this company, and like eliminating that emotional and, connection to the person or the business. Having that personal touch definitely makes people more empathetic for when things can take a turn, and like they'll definitely be a little bit more understanding. And so for me, everything comes to that first impression, and just building the relationship, making sure that we're establishing a connection as soon as possible. because, you have nothing to lose from that. Just sending somebody a message saying, hi, thank you for your support of my small business. I'm so excited for you to get your product. Please send photos as soon as you get it. I'm so excited to see. I hope you enjoy. Your order will be dispatched at this time. And so just being able to do that, people appreciate it. And then it just creates that connection and that relationship that's just going to work more in your favor.
That's incredible. And I totally resonate. I mean, especially as it's COVID, so we're not walking into stores, we're not seeing any salesperson smiling and saying, all of that. So it's really important that, for e-commerce, and since everybody's behind the screen, that communication just keeps going. One more question that I got is, when did you know to move from Etsy? I believe you mentioned that you started with Etsy. So when did you know to move from Etsy to, Baloo's proper website?
Yeah, I knew pretty much that same first weekend. So we actually had an issue where because the account was recently or newly established, it wasn't fully set up yet, but we didn't know that. So for some reason, it looked like our store had been fully set up. We were good to go. It said nothing about a waiting period, but apparently, the back end just wasn't set and good to go, especially because I made it on a Saturday. And so we had gotten 5 orders within like the first 2 days. And by the end of the day on Sunday, they were all canceled, just completely out of the blue. We just got a notification after notification saying like, order canceled, order canceled, order canceled, order canceled. And we just immediately looked into it, and we were just like, the platform's not for us. Obviously it has an issue, blah, blah, blah. Of course we looked into the problem, my fiance did, and then we just took the opportunity to just fully create our own website because we didn't want to be reliant on another party to have to look into the details, because even just trying to get into their customer service just was a headache. And so we just said, let's make our own website as to avoid this in the future. And so that was one of the best decisions we could have made, because any of our partnerships that we have made, they've all told us that they've gone to our website. That's one of the first things that they tell us, because people want to vet you. They want to see what you're about, if you're maintaining consistency across the board, because the last thing that somebody wants to do is to bring you on and you can't maintain the standard that you've set across multiple platforms. To have that capacity is really important for a partner to know that you're able to do. So for us, and especially now that we have signed on, like with Best Buy, what we've realized is to have a strong presence across multiple platforms is incredibly important, because the next person who we poach, we're going to be able to say now we're with a luxury retailer, and then we're also with a high volume retailer. And so being able to say that if you wanted to approach, like, let's say Saks or Holt Renfrew, even for just a pop-up, they would say, okay, you can back it up. And so being able to just establish that as quickly as possible is really important, because you never know when somebody's going to come looking.
Awesome. Thank you. I have one more question, which is, what is the one of the biggest challenge that you face running an e-commerce business at this point, and how do you navigate that? Because I know that there are a number of women up here who are still in the planning phases of getting their e-commerce, their websites, or moving digitally. What is the challenge that you face, and how do you navigate it?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be the consumer behavior is definitely more inconsistent. Shopping can be incredibly passive for people. I know I've done it where I'm just looking. I'll see that, for example, the other day I was looking at Telfar. They're doing an UGG collaboration release, and they did their launch yesterday. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna go check it out. I added a bag into my cart, and then I left it and I just ditched. There was absolutely no intent to buy. I don't really even know why I put it in my bag, because what am I going to be doing with an UGG bag when I can't even go out? And so that is not just me, it's a lot of consumers, it's a lot of people who go shopping. You know, the window shopping online is definitely real. And what it can do is just give you a little less insight into what your actual consumer behavior is. And so it's a little bit more difficult to gauge. For us, that's still something that we're working through right now. And so being able to lock in why you're having such a high abandoned cart, you know, is it an issue of, you know, your customers, it's just not the right time for people who normally would buy your product? Is it that it's people who are coming and they want a better price on the product? Is it that they want, you know, free shipping? Is it that, you know, processing time was too long, or they just don't want to buy because they don't know enough about the product? Does it come down to education? And so when you do have a store, you're able to talk to people and say, you know, why didn't this work out for you today? You know, whenever you go to do a return, they'll always ask you, why are you returning this? And so it gives them more insight as to why their products aren't working for you. When you're working in a digital space, sometimes the activity on your platform can be incredibly passive. So it's a little bit more difficult to tell. And so that's been one of our main challenges. But especially over this past week, we've definitely gained a lot more insight into our clientele. And especially working in the space as children's products, mothers always want the best for their children. And so we definitely have an inconsistency in our customer base, because there's some women who would just love our product. They love our product and they want it so bad. It's just at their price point. And we've actually had people who have messaged us saying, you know, we love your product, you know, we want to buy it. It's just a little bit out of our price point. It's a little bit out of our price range. And when we started getting those messages, we created With Love from Baloo. And that's where we take our products and we'll discount it for people who are willing to just reach out and say like, hey, I love what you're doing. It's just one part isn't for me. And if it just comes down to price point, you know, moms who want the best for us, or for our kids, and you know that will always hit a nerve for me. And so I will always be the first one if a mom can say, I really want this for my kid. I'm like, have it for your kid. You know, what is it that you want to? Do you want me to send it to you for free? Do you want to pay a little something? Like, what is it? Tell me what you need. Do you need free shipping? And they'll always tell me like, I can pay half, or I just can't afford it right now, or free shipping would be great. And I'm always like, take it, do it. That's absolutely. And then that absolutely changes an aspect of our clientele, because when we do that, now these moms go and relay to their friends that, you know, we're a business that's definitely run by a mom because we care. We care for I care for my kid, I care for yours. And that's the biggest and most important part of my business for me, is that moms are able to get what they want for their kids. And price doesn't have to be an issue if that's what it comes down to. So just being able to mediate those breaking points for some consumers is really important to me, and has just become just something that's just embodied in the business.
Incredible. We have one more question from Doreen, and she's asking, how long did it take for you to, you know, market your product before on social media before actually launching the product? I know different companies have different strategies. They would want to market for like a month or two before launching the product. But in your experience, what did that look like for you?
I hear that method a lot, where people will have a landing page and then customers come and they drop their emails, and you know, a message will go out, you know, when the website finally launches, you'll do like a 1 or 2 month pre-launch. I am very unfortunately too impulsive for that. And that was not at all what we did. We just hit the ground running. We actually had our website launched in about the first month. And like I said, with Etsy, it was just, I just put it up to see if it would hit, and it did. And then we kind of just took off running from there. And then we just ended up playing catch up for about 2 to 3 months. But we just made it work. And then in that, you know, the communication with our customers was really key. I would say recognize what your strong points are and recognize where you can work on them. Because for me, being able to take what it is that I'm good at and then having to work it around maybe one of my not so strong suits in business, which is being a little bit too impulsive. So now let's say if I think of a promotion that I want to do, we've created a platform. So we operate on Microsoft Teams, and so my fiance and I will banter back and forth through there. We'll have our conversations in person. And that way it gives me the opportunity to work through my ideas and not be just so quick to jump on the ball with them. And that's something I'm working on. As long as you can recognize where it is that you can improve and where it is that you need to readjust maybe a little bit, and work at that, that's definitely the most important thing to be doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel like we've held you too long from no rush.
No, it's okay. And I'll just quickly go through these other ones because I know that we're running short for time. So in working in an online space, stamp of approval is key. Now, how do you get that? So the first image is from the studio that we do a lot of photo shoots in. They are a photography studio. They are a photography studio with an Instagram that needs photos. So anytime I ever post a photo, I always tag them in it, always, even if it's on my story. So as you can see there, it says mentioned in their story. What that's doing is to anybody who's on their platform, they're showcasing us and our business to them. Why we use that studio actually was because they had that nursery room, and because they do a lot of family shots and a lot of family photo shoots, and family photo shoots often entail children. And so for me, that was a marketing sort of idea to be able to target their customers who have kids who are going to want our products. And so if you're able to just consistently tag a similar or aligning company that has your clientele, and you're able to utilize them shouting you out on their platform, that would be great, because you're just giving yourself that opportunity for somebody to say, oh, I've heard of them. Now, moving across in the stamp of approval, we have, these two Instagram micro influencer moms, who the first one actually, her name is Courtney. She bought our product. She didn't reach out to us for a collaboration. She didn't want it for free. She just bought it, and she gave us, I sent her a handwritten note, and, often when I have a customer, I'll actually look at them on Instagram just to see if I can reach out to them and say, hi, like, I noticed that you bought our product. I noticed that you are a content creator. Can you take some photos for us and tag us on your feed? More often than not, they say yes. And then I'll throw in like a little something for free, whether it be an extra set of balls or it's, a free bib. Just being able to incentivize them to want to give our product a little bit more love on their page is just ideal. And then another influencer who we work with, her name is Megan, and she has triplets. And so for us to be able to utilize her page, she has a following of moms who understand what it is to be busy, incredibly busy. And so the fact that she enjoys our product so much, and she posts it every single day, every morning they do ball pit time, and every single time they do ball pit time, she tags us. And so when we repost that on our page, people see that there is a validity to the reviews and the shout outs that it is that we're getting. Her followers who are coming on see that, whenever somebody does, a paid collaboration, they usually stop as soon as that payment threshold time is over. She's been posting every single morning for about 4 months now. So she would be way past any sort of, project timeline if that was a thing. She genuinely enjoys it. Her kids genuinely enjoy it. And that's what's translating, and that's what's coming over into our page. This is another piece of advertising that we had gotten through the Tot. We were put on the New York Post, in Curiosity, and The Bump, on a number of different lists for gifts for babies for the holidays, and actually also toys for babies and kids under 2 to have while in the pandemic, and while just being at home. And so being able to have these, I will be using them until like eternity, because this is our stamp of approval. This is what tells people, they're legit, they're here. And what's great about media these days is that you're often able to see who is posting these and how to get into contact with them. The woman who posted us on BuzzFeed, her name was May, and I was able to find her on Instagram and say thank you so much for including us in this list. We really appreciate the feature. If there's anything that I can ever send you in the future, please do let me know. And we've been able to create a relationship there. So being able to follow up on those is really beneficial and really important. And it's great to have that access to people who are able to do that for you. Now, working in an online space, how accessible are you? I think somebody had asked a question kind of related to that earlier. But so these are some messages and some emails that I get from some of the messages that I received today from customers. The key thing that they're all saying is, thank you for the quick response. I don't think you can even understand how much of a difference this makes, being able to respond to somebody when they're sitting on their computer with the product in their cart. Being able to have that response time. I'm not the greatest at it, but being able to have my fiance with me who's able to also answer some messages, it's great to have, and it's really important, and it definitely helps us with being able to have that response time be a lot quicker. We utilize Instagram messaging, Facebook messaging, and then you're able to set up WhatsApp as well, and then get a phone number for just that platform, which is really great. You can set up a phone number with, I think it's Google Call. That's not actually linked to a phone. You can put it on WhatsApp. And so being able to maintain that line of communication is really important when working in an e-commerce space, and being able to have, the 4 pillars of what a brick and mortar are. Uju, are there any other questions?
Yeah, I think I took all the questions in the middle. So we're on questions. Thank you so much, Danielle. This has been very, very in-depth and expository. I feel like I want to go start my e-commerce business tomorrow, basically, with the information that we got here. So thank you so much. We do have roughly 10 minutes till we're done. And I just want to give the floor to a few incredible women who want to share the testimonial on how the program has been of impact to them so far. Some of them, we have 2 women. I think one of them was on the first Boss Women cohort, and she also was one of the winners at the pitch competition that we did at the end of the first cohort. So Ovie, I know you're still here. She's like a superstar. She's always there to like the very end. So I'm just going to call you up very briefly to just share what your testimony has been like so far, what impact this program, both the first cohort and the second one so far, what it has been for you.
Okay, so welcome everybody. I am definitely an example of what I would say someone who had major success from the opportunity to be part of the Boss Women Entrepreneurship. And my business is a non-for-profit. It's called the Canadian Black Nurses Alliance. I've been in the nursing industry for 13 years. And I recognize that in Canada, there isn't any platform or a central hub for Black nurses to come and have support from each other. I don't want to take up too much time with going about my non-for-profit, but I want to spend the time talking about Boss Women Entrepreneurship. So the first thing that I would say is you need to be hungry. So even before this opportunity came up, I was already in the mindset of being a boss. I'm actually having the opportunity to be a manager in January 2021. So that mindset of being a boss professionally and as an entrepreneur has always been inside of me. So when I recognized that the BPA was offering something, I was game and ready for it. And I took that hunger throughout the entire 8 weeks. And regardless of my personal schedule as a mother of 2 children, I made sure that that didn't hinder what was inside of me and what needed to be achieved for a bigger purpose. So I was always present for every single session, regardless of my knowledge base on the subject matter or lack thereof knowledge base on the subject matter. And I think it's very important, regardless of me being successful, to pitch my business and having that seed money for my team, which we will be utilizing to benefit other nurses by providing scholarships for them in 2021. I think the biggest piece was that I walked away with every single session learning something or reinforcing some knowledge that I already had. And I think joining on the second session, regardless of me having that knowledge base, it's just cementing it now. And the bigger piece of it is you're part of a network. So when there was that break, I can contact anybody who I was connected to the first week, the first session, I mean, as well as the leaders from there. And there's so much connection that you get outside of not knowing by being part of this group. Things as such as like now my pitch is available and ready, like my bio is ready, my understanding of the financial flow sheet is available and ready. So those aspects of your business in terms of my business plan is ready. Those things were not ready when I took the first session. So I've seen the growth in myself as a businesswoman, as in my team as well, as we take back the information that we learned from this opportunity. So I think it's very important to be present, be hungry, be patient with your journey. And whether you're successful at winning an award, or you may not get anything from the first session, or you think you might get something from the second session, keep on it and be part of this unique dynamic group. Because I think the future for all of us as Black women, regardless of being entrepreneurs, is so bright. And I think if you're not hungry and ready for opportunity, you'll miss out on what's available to you.
Thank you so much, Ovie. I feel like I've learned one or two from you and the consistency that you show. So thank you for just showing up and, just encouraging other people to also show up as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more amazing lady, Francesca. She has she has her own business and she has a line of candles. Some of us who were here in the first week would have heard us talk about her product. It's amazing, super amazing. And I don't quite know if she was in the first cohort, but she's currently here. And I'm just going to give her the floor to just talk about, her experience so far with the Boss Women Entrepreneurship Program. Her name is Francesca.
Thank you, Iju. Hi, everyone. So I was in the first cohort with OVA. And congratulations on your success and your new position. So the reason why I started Cultivate Self was because I am a social worker and I work as a psychotherapist where I provide therapeutic supports to members of the Black community who are experiencing mental health and addiction challenges. I've always been passionate about mental health and providing my gift to the community. However, when I launched my private practice in May, I recognized that yes, I'm providing that therapeutic supports, but also recognizing that when it comes to therapy, my client also has to do the work as well. That's what allowed me to venture into Cultivate Self, where I'm able to provide candles, where my candles are very Afrocentric inspired, mixed with essential oils that allow customers who purchase to cue in mood and dwell within self and really just relax their mind and just, do things like journaling, yoga, just really look within themselves and just really start to cultivate self-care. I launched Cultivate Self in October. And while I was launching, I was in the cohort as well, because I needed some ideas and some supports. And what I really took from the first cohort is the importance of building community. I didn't have anyone except the idea and the passion for mental health and just providing that support. And I'm still very passionate about it to this day, even though there are some struggles. I have launched and I'm doing well. I've made 75 orders within 55 sales. So when it comes to revenue, I'm at the $2,000 mark, which to me is amazing, because I never thought I would be able to do entrepreneurship ever. So I'm really, really grateful that, this program is here and the opportunities are available. You just have to, like OVA said, be hungry and, ask for it and seek out for it and be ready.
Awesome. Thank you. I feel like this hungry line it's really popular. We should put it on a t-shirt or something. Be hungry. great, you know, so and then we can get it all for everyone. So thank you so much, Francesca. I'm still gonna get your candles. Like, I have to go on the website. Everyone, I encourage you to go on the website and order a candle. I saw it at Brand EQ office last time I was there, and it smells really, really amazing. So on that note, we have come to the end of today's session. Next week would be week 5, which would be why Viagra sells. Is basically just code for marketing. And we're going to have Google come. I don't know any other company that does marketing and AI as well as Google does. So you really want to be available for that one. And so we'd have Google speak to us next week as well. So thank you so much for staying till the very end. Nadine, do you have anything to tell our boss women before we say goodnight?
I was just so inspired by, you know, the OVA who shared, and also Francesca. Listen, Francesca, and thank you so much. I in government, I talk about your candles to everybody. I spoke at Queen's and I talked about your business and your candles and the method behind it. Your brand story is an incredible one. We are having a pop-up BBPA in the community December 1st, which is today, at Young and Eglinton. We're having 2 locations, and we want to, I don't know if our office has reached out to you yet, Francesca, but we want this to be one of the products. And if anybody has a product or a service, because I think, you know, our pop-ups isn't just necessarily, you know, commodities like this, but if you have a service and you want to be featured in the BBPA pop-up, please reach out to us. This season, we really want to push our Black businesses forward because we recognize that it's going to be a challenging season, perhaps. But you've heard Danielle's story. In the midst of this pandemic, she's found a business and is doing like incredibly amazing. You heard Francesca's story. So it's completely possible. Dorian, we still talk about your belly butter. I love the name of it. Like, who does not want to have a product that says belly butter, right? So there's a lot of great opportunities here. Nettie, we're really big and hot on your sauce. I saw in the chat you wrote about your legendary sauce. So all of these products we want to put forward. So ladies, it's a privilege and an honor to be with you each and every week. We have a great community here, a network and a tribe, and I want us to continue to be there for each other and to be a support as we continue to build and grow our businesses together. So thank you so much. And also I want to thank Uju for just being amazing. Ladies, she's a dynamite. She's just incredible. She pulls this together every single week and is just so rock star stellar. So Uju, gracias, merci. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uju.
Thanks. I would finally just want to encourage us to really support each other because, I mean, they say charity starts from home. This is our home. Order the candles, order the hot sauce, order the therapy sessions, whatever you can, you know, just let's support each other here before we start, you know, spreading it out to everyone out there to also support us as well. And so, I mean, it's Christmas, you know, even if you don't need it for yourself, you can gift it to someone as well, right? Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for coming on again this Tuesday and just listening to us. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Have a lovely evening and enjoy the rest of your week.